Hi, everyone. I hope you had a nice Christmas. Um, I wanted to share, I was very, how shall I say it, not happy, but I was waiting to see, apparently Gary Melton was going to bring on uh, somebody, what's his name, Mitch Snow's ex-wife, or I guess they're still married. Apparently, the divorce still hasn't gone through. I mean, this gets into court abuse, and nobody's looking over there. I mean, that's what we'll see here. So I hope everybody will look at my, my videos in its entirety because I mean, what's the point with all of this? The Epstein files, who killed Charlie Kirk? I mean, if you don't get some integrity in the court systems, they can keep on laughing at you. And, as we'll see, this is already the strategy they're starting with Candace Owens. She's crazy. She's crazy. They said they did this with Kanye West, tried to do it with Michael Jackson, did it with what's her face, I always forget her name, uh, blonde singer. Um, and I mean, Candace has been going through that on her stuff on Freud in her book club. I mean, I contacted Candace, I guess it was in March, April or so, about because I saw her on this feminism, her against all these feminists. I was like, thank you. Can we please sit down and would you look at all of the research I've done and can you look at all of the problems where there are? Because it's not just the ideologies. These people have nonprofits, they've built networks, they're in the universities. I mean, they've infiltrated HR, they're all over the place, they've infiltrated the courts, they've taken over the psychology psychiatrist. I mean, that's why, yeah, more crazy people here, we get them on drugs. And this is why this is all getting, crazy about the cartels, the drug cartels, the unending cycle of consumption and production of drugs, illegal and legal ones from the pharmaceuticals. Sorry. So, I will get into that. But I'm hoping people look at something else because when it gets into Mitch's, he's being bashed. He's being called this, domestic abuse, um, you know, horrible person, vicious person. I don't know how many adjectives everybody has used to describe him. And that's not the reality. This is typical case we've seen, and that's why this cat Espinda, and the other gentleman, I forget which, here they do too. What is it? Cat Espinda and it's Truth Stream. I mean, these guys did a video on it and a documentary. I mean, these are podcasters who specialize in this, and she's been fighting this stuff. We've got groups all over the country of women, small groups. I'm pissed as shit. A lot of it is their fault. They won't work together. Nobody will work together. So, it's not just, oh, well, you're just a few lone voices. I'm like, yeah, a few lone voices because there's so goddamn much infighting. We can't get anybody to work together. That's why we're getting an autocratic government and nobody in Washington will work together and nobody will listen once they get into office. They're all too busy partying and stuff in their pockets, and the few have any kind of integrity. Uh, our salmon's trying to swim up Niagara Falls. I know. I've been back here for almost 20 years. In fact, when people, oh, I hope you had a nice Christmas, especially, I mean, Patriot Housewife, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, thanks. I've just counted. This is the 19th year I've been separated from my sons. Because why? I won't drink Kool-Aid and I won't pass out Kool-Aid. And believe me, there it's a whole propaganda machine. And that's what everybody here is being a part of. I mean, yeah, I hope we find out who killed Charlie Kirk. I mean, the evidence is not good against I mean, it would have been collusion, of course, with people with TPUSA or Erica Kirk. I mean, of course they wouldn't. I mean, Andrew Colvin. See, the thing is everybody's blaming Candace Owens for destroying TPUSA. TPUSA is self-destructing. They're doing it to it themselves. I'm sorry. Stop trying to blame Candace Owens. Apart apart from the little detail of who killed Charlie Kirk. I mean, let's just move on. I was watching it, it's at the end of the presentation, a video with Michael Tracy and Ian Maxwell, the brother of Ghislaine Maxwell. And I mean, a subject came up of what happened, was his father, was it a suicide or was he killed? And this does get into the Jeffrey Epstein. This gets into the Mossad. This is all connected. You guys got to start connecting the freaking dots. I've been putting out the dots for 20 years. You can tell I am not doing this to make money. And I'm not doing this professionally. I'm doing this with a computer that'll barely, stream online. I'm like, give me the cheapest one you got, but that I can still, stream and have that. So don't judge me for my background or the quality of my, you know, what do you call it? The optics or whatever. Um, so anyway, back to that. I get distracted. But so connect the dots because it's all connected. And as I say, stop blaming Candace Owens for TP USA self-destructing. Tell TP USA to get their shit together. And also, if there's some people involved, as I say, it's not possible they wouldn't have the technology, they wouldn't have the intelligence to bungle this thing. I mean, the military, CIA military industrial complex or whoever's involved in this has done a big enough job of bungling it. They're the professionals. Oh my goodness! I promise you, I this all reminds me of who shot Jr. Who shot Jr. in Dallas in God, is this was still in the 1970s? Yeah, I think we were still late 70s. Um, Dallas Dynasty got into the 80s. See, that's what I'm like, you guys. Uh, After we had J.R. Ewing, we had Alexis Carrington, the evil witch, and the good witch. And that's Catherine Oxenberg was involved in all of that. She sold this elitism to the American public as much as Cornelia Guest did. And that's what everybody is basically selling. I mean, you just look at TPA USA. This is a religious group. Oh, and then the witch. What's her name? My goodness, I forget. She's the singer, the rapper, or whatever, who called JD an assassin. I'm like, this is surreal. This is surreal. Okay, yeah, okay, so let's get to it. Oh, shoot. Okay, I have to. Oh, gosh. No, I didn't want to do that. Sorry. Um, I wanted to. Yeah, this is. I mean, let's just say. I mean, you have to give him this. Ah, yeah, this thing. Um, this is entertainment and it is entertaining. I mean, the thing is who shot JR. I mean, that's TV, that's television. This is real life, people. I mean, come on. Okay, so here, this was patriotic. I'm gonna try and open it. Hope this works.
Hello, and welcome back for another episode of
Okay, I wish everybody would say in their attacks on Mitch or whatever, alleged domestic violence case, because nobody has looked at any of the evidence or anything like that. So I would appreciate, alleged domestic violence against Mitch Snow until you actually produce some proof and have looked at what's going on there. Okay, sorry, I'm going to stop every single second. But what I want to point out here is there can be good information out there. There can be that bad information out there. See, it's become so normalized that it's the responsibility of the consumer to sift through all of the information and know what's real and what's not real and yada yada yada. Now, I mean, if you'll go back and this I think was really at Hill House. That's King Charles's school in London. I mean, he went to several schools, but that's where my brother went as well. But I went into it there, and this the utilization of mass communication to manipulate. I mean, it really started with TV. I mean, radio before that. It did start with radio. And that had a lot to do with World War II, promoting World War II. But then you have TV, and then you see this huge, you know, then the baby boomers come back from World War II, and then there's all this money, and then you have all of these GI Bill people with college education and explosion of the managerial class and things like that. So that goes into the King Charles and the problems that produced and how it was bad governance on the part of Queen Elizabeth that the media became out of control, and Robert Maxwell was one of the major players in there and manipulating that, and see how all of the dots connect. And so we have had, I mean, this is what I'm interested in. I'm still fascinated. Everybody's like, oh, get away, Nick Fuentes. If he says he admired Stalin, I'm like, well, why? Or if you admired Hitler, I'd be like, well, why? Why do you say that? Instead of like, the devil incarnate. I mean, what is everybody so afraid of? God, and then you go around freedom of speech. Oh, sorry, I didn't make my point at the end of that. My point being, it is not, and mass communication has become this propaganda machine, and that is where the government comes in, regulation, and it is not the responsibility of the consumer and the citizen to sift through everything and figure out what's true and what's not. There is that responsibility of the government to oversee and regulate. And quite frankly, YouTube is out of control. I've been watching OC as well, how this monetizes and you know motivations, trends. I mean, I've been watching this stuff for the past 3 months with these people. Takedown of Mitch is right. It's better. Yeah. Don't share. Putting it mildly. Yes, well, this is what DEI has produced. HR idiots who are absolutely, ruled by the feminists, PR people who, I mean, they're robots. They know how to read the manuals, but nothing else. I mean, this is just, I'm like, yeah, well, another case study of a company that has been destroyed by, as I say, DI and the feminists. Yeah. Okay, so there, I mean, I'm cracking up. But one of the things, like, with all of these people on the, Candace is on there, patriotic housewife, the whole thing about this networking, and this is what nobody's understanding. I mean, this goes back to, oh, you can't see it very well there. Debutante guides to what? To life. Really, I don't know if you can see it because it looks like you can't from my end. So anyway, this was Cornelia's book at 19, I think she came out with it in 1983 or something, but that she became Deb of the Year. It was at way 81, 82, and then Deb of the Decade for the 80s. And then, we've had that Paris Hilton and everything. I mean, this is what the Real Housewives, all of these are following this role model. And it's no different than the Valley of the Dolls, the movie with, was that, oh, I forget. There was a whole bunch of, I think it was the woman who played in that was also with Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate. I can't remember her name anyway, but it's it was a famous movie, Valley of the Dolls, 1950. You have the Stepford Wives afterwards. I mean, this story repeats itself and repeats itself, and this is what we're dealing with. This I don't know if you can see either. Tripping the Prom Queen. So that's really been my focus. Um, and and that's what I kind of want to talk about in this video series is really Gary Melton, which is Paramount. It's Gary Melton, Alex Jones. Well, Alex Jones is leading the charge. That's kind of funny how that happens. But the military, and what are you guys doing? Are you, here I have it here, question for them, is your allegiance to the American people and U.S. Constitution, or military industrial complex and CIA? Because this is where we're going to have, this comes down to where we get the division in Civil War. Because you do have some vets who actually believe the bullshit that they were fed when they signed up and the whole stuff, and you're fighting for your country and the rights. I'm like, wait a second. The courts are in shambles. Congress is out to lunch and just seeing how deep they could get their pockets stuffed. So, like, what is it exactly you're fighting for? We've got unending wars. That's creating human rights violations. So, like, I'm sorry, you're not fighting for human rights and spreading democracies or anything like that. In fact, I'm challenging the State Department with my whole global expat stuff, the expat wives, and trying to mobilize the military wives, normally the trailing spouses that you see with the expat wives clubs, that's the corporate and the diplomatic corps. I mean, the diplomatic corps, they all have their own expat wives clubs, and the military as well. I mean, there are all sorts of these groups, but it's like with the PTA, get off your freaking butts and stop. Oh, I gotta go and advance my career, and be a trad wife like Erica Kirk. I mean, that is, I'm sorry, that's no much more a role model than that black rapper woman, what is her name? Who called JD Vance in his house. People are crazy. These are not good role models. Any of them. Cornelia Guest, Catherine Oxenberg, Alexis Carrington, Erica Kirk. I mean, you look at that stuff and it's like, wait a second, this is, I mean, what is it, the Bakers, Tammy Baker, Tammy Baker. I mean, that was bad enough. I mean, okay, you guys, now you got more technology, so you're going to throw well, like, no, this has been one of the problems, big problems, with all the American different denominations and churches. I loved it when Charlie Kirk said, yeah, they run them from their basement. So, in comparing it to the cathedrals of the Catholics, particularly in Europe, although I have to say the Washington Cathedral is pretty good. I mean, it's modern, but you have to do with your times. You're not going to do some fake like 500 years ago. So anyway, that those are run like cults. And I remember in Arizona, before we left Arizona, there was a friend in the neighborhood, Sharon Madare, and she got into all of that, the born again Christians, and I went to some of those Bible studies, and it wasn't that I had, I was like, yeah, I have no problem with the rhetoric, but it just is this like kind of cult-like feeling, and effectively it was a cult. She ended up getting involved in that, and then she left. So there is a big problem with that. And, with TPUSA, all of the money coming in there. But it's, this is why I'm like Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is where everybody, please look at the big picture. Why won't you listen to me? We got to dismantle all of these nonprofits. This is just one little arena and one group. And yes, it's problematic and it needs to be addressed, but stop. Everybody's screaming and yelling. We got a problem. We got a fire, fire, fire. Running around. um, Screaming and yelling that there's a problem. Houston, we got a problem, but nobody wants to address the problems. So anyway, you can go, this goes into a link with because in the last one I showed, it was a YouTube video that had been an update. This one gives a bit more information on what Mitch's case is all about. But then again, in this one here, he doesn't discuss all of the different points of his case. I mean, we do this all the time with victims. If you're going to get up and discuss them in some sort of platform or something, you have to direct questions and you have to direct issues, and you can't sit there. I mean, my Lord, if you listen, some of these things, this has been going on for 10 years, I think. But yeah, mine's been going on for 19 years. And precisely because everyone wants, nobody wants to be involved in any unpleasantness, including the Arizona Republican Party. And this goes back to the McCains. McCains, I sent, because up into a certain point, I was like, well, okay, this is Mike Helen. Cindy McCain is not going to necessarily know what's been going on here for all of these years. But, and also, some of these people, I had to build up evidence, just like Candace is doing. I had to, okay, what's going on here? I had tons of research to do. What's going on here? Build up the evidence. Solicit. I mean, when everybody was criticizing Candace for meeting with Erica, privately, and she's. I'm like, wait a second. Candace is running with the ball. I mean, if she thinks that this, and I mean, yeah, she had to do it, and that was obviously what she had to do. But I was just like, wait a second, you people, you're sitting here watching this thing. You don't have any money on the table here. Your ass is not on the line. So, if Candace is running with the ball, wait a little bit until you have commentary and judge and say, well, why didn't she do that? Oh, this is not transparent. We're not seeing the whole thing. I'm like, well, wait a second. I forget, somebody was explaining that if you meet with somebody off the record, you're going to meet with them off the record and you can't say anything about what they said to you. And the only reason that you're going through that process is to get more information on the bigger picture, but this person doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't want that information in there. I mean, this whole thing of transparent means, we're going to walk around nude in the streets. No, that's not exactly it. So anyway, this is, you can look through that. But like, what was it? The criticisms of his, I mean, it went back and forth with Nate and Valhalla about the timelines, and and he used all of these. I mean, it's classic. I'm like, oh God, this is great. These videos we should take and use as learning tools of how people are gaslighting everybody and how these guys are doing it. Because it's typical, they'll I have put together a presentation of how they break it down, but they stress a point, and they'll be like, they'll make a statement and done. Like they have their God, and they have stated it, so there's no questions to be asked. I mean, just that, I'm like, this is fascist Nazi bullshit, you guys. No, excuse me. No. You say so. There's, and then they'll and then they repeat and repeat, and there's just they're very condescending. Oh God, I mean, Alex Jones, somebody even pointed this out on one of their postings. I mean, I've separated from my kids. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody in Washington. They're all corrupt. So this is how I spend my Christmas. So exciting and in a shit place. So anyway, condescension, that's another, tactic that they use. So it really is, this would be great, a great presentation documentary to put together of how, you know how these tactics are being used and how they were coordinated. This is another thing, just like with Andrew Colvett and the message exchange there with Gary Melton. These guys, Jesse Merle from Jesse on Fire, he's like giving out some intel of like how they've spoken. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got the story right. We're on the same page before we go on to this. Lord, I mean, come on, you guys. This we could go to a country club and get the same bullshit. I'll tell you, those backstabbing bitches all the same crap. So anyway, Alex Jones leading the charge in smear campaigns against Candace Owens. Um, Here, let's listen to this just briefly. Oh, this this video has been removed for violating YouTube's terms of service. Okay. Well, that's funny. I guess I will. They're trying to cover their tracks. I don't know if I'll leave that one on there or not. Let's see. This is, yeah, I think this one is Nate's. Um, oh, here. Let's just, for anybody who is unfamiliar with uh, what's his face, Mitch Snow's testimony, let's just go over that. Hold on. Yeah, we'll talk about the IRS another day. Yeah. Yeah, Candace jumps and she kind of surmises, uh, let's just say, jumps over a lot of stuff and surmises and stuff that is not exactly how things are. See, I'd like to know, has anybody who is saying that Mitch is a liar, and this was Jesse Merles, there's Alex Jones, Gary Melton, I mean, he's a disgusting, vicious, wife beater, liar, da, 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 making those statements, have they looked at any of these documents? I mean, I'm basing my belief on him of what I know from my research. He seems a very credible witness. I mean, it just, but when I was watching one of these things, I was like, oh my God, wait a second, like minuscule criticizing everything and like this and that and this is he's a liar. I was like, but wait a second, when it comes to Virginia Giuffre and Erica Kirk, like everything they should be believed, whatever they say, whatever the evidence shows, these double standards are incredible. I mean, we see it all the time, and which is the problem, and that's why I am keep on hitting my head against the wall on presumption of innocence and due process. I am the most skeptical person because I've seen it all and heard it all. So, but whenever I meet somebody, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, they start saying things that make no sense or contradicting themselves or they start in with gaslighting of like trying to get me to not like somebody. A lot of times it'll be, somebody will come to you and pull that bullshit, and you're like, well, I didn't ask you anything. Why are you volunteering this information? This needs more investigation. Just like with what happened with the whole Brigitte Macron stuff. And this opens the can of worms. See, I'm over there in France, Candace, as well. And this gets into Dominique Strauss-Kahn and Sinclair. I mean, the Sarkozy camp. I mean, the same crap that's going on. What do you think? The same crap that's going on in the United States is going on in Europe, and the same people involved are on both sides. I mean, my story is no difference from the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Just I was the trad wife the much despised trad wife instead of sugar baby prostitute. Oh, so we're going to believe the sugar baby prostitute, put her on a pedestal, and make her into this, like, you know, Mary Magdalena. Um, and the trad wife, we're going to, like throw into the street and kick every time we can when we're passing by. This is America the Great. And this is also Baron Coleman. He said something about this, and I was like, oh, bullshit, you. He was like, oh no, they're going after Candace Owens because she's black. They wouldn't be doing this if she was white. I was like, oh no. Excuse me. And I contacted Baron Coleman. I said, oh, lawyer, January 6th lawyer. Maybe I can get him to help me. All I need is a lawyer to start putting, their stamp, their seal of it. If people start seeing that I've got a lawyer who's backing me, they're not going to ignore me anymore. Get the ball rolling. Good luck. Yeah. Yeah. See, notice Gary Melton and company and all of his little gang bashing Mitch Snow. See, Mitch Snow is trying to get the record straight with the administration, with the authorities. And Gary Milton is pulling out those documents that this guy's fighting to get straight because there's apparently some conflicting. I haven't looked at the documents. I don't, I'm believing what I'm hearing from people. I don't have time to look at every single document. Believe me, I've had people come to me with cases and people, oh, well, have you ever examined everything? And I'm like, no, but what goes through your mind that you think that somebody would actually make this shit up? And oh, he's made 100 with the GoFundMe stuff that Candace has started. He's made $140,000. Oh, and see, Gary Milton, they're determined to make sure that they get that money away from him. That was like the ultimatum. I mean, that was just like, and that I think is why the Alex Jones thing was pulled down because Alex Jones gave him or Candace as well, an ultimatum to stop this. And, I forget exactly the words. Unfortunately, we don't know. That wasn't, oh gosh, I wish I had that, filmed that one. I just put it on the slides. But anyway, an ultimatum. I was like, this is extortion. You give us that $140,000 and whatever more it might make, which I hope it makes some more for him because I know how this thing goes. Believe me, financial abuse and get you poor and living on the streets with nothing in a tent. I'm almost there. I've been almost there for the past 19 years since I've been back to DC. Foxcroft costs $70,000 a year. I can barely get a minimum wage job. I got a business diploma from GW. I've got the best business plan anybody ever seen, but I can't get more than a minimum wage job and I keep on getting fired. And we can go after, I mean, oh, see, this is the IMF, the World Bank, Larry Summers. Okay, I don't want to get off on another tangent of all of these people. But I'm going to get to the end of this thing and I'll show Whitney Webb. She gave you all the names years ago. Why isn't anybody moving their asses? Continue. Serving oligarchs, but it's not the oligarchs alone. It's the bureaucrats, the seat-warming bureaucrats. I promise you, nobody, once you get to Washington, nobody cares. Tucker Carlson's son is working for J.D. Vance. Nobody cares. It's just, oh, my career, and working your way up the ladder. That's what they're married to their pocketbooks. And they're all Democrats. DC is, and the entire area, they're all woke liberals. I mean, I am just like the devil incarnate. I'm on all of these religious groups, and here I am. I'm supposed to be the devil incarnate here in Washington because I want due process in our courts. I want good governance from our government. I want them to stop taking taxpayers for a ride. Oh, and then when I go to the press, I mean, and the podcasts are supposed to solve the solution. No, I mean, really, quite frankly, we're seeing here, and how this started. Gosh, this was in September. I guess that was with the first one that I did with Charlie Kirk's shooting. Was you guys are radicalizing everybody because it's just allegations. Nobody's looking into evidence. And it just making things worse and worse and worse. Okay, and so for the oligarchs again, we'll see later. Tim Mellon, let us make an example of that. Let me get him in court. Oh, I got a doozy of that shit. And that's what the Amelia Earhart. This comes in later. That would be interesting. See, somebody said, oh, the video's fake. Who takes a video of 18 minutes? Well, when you start getting the runaround from all of this shit, oh, yeah, it's like, okay, go on to my Taking Back America for the People. Anytime I can, I'm like, I'm going to get you assholes on camera. So, no, that's proof that he's getting the freaking runaround. What's going on here? Let's get to, I mean, this is our military. Oh, for all of you young kids, please watch MASH. Yeah, government service administration. They manage all of the buildings. Yeah. There's that word vehicle. When it first came out, in fact, I sent a tip to Candace. I don't know if I was the one who started it, but anyway, I was like, vehicle. Who says vehicle? Nobody says vehicle. And now everywhere I turn, I hear people saying, "Oh yeah, people do use that word." But anyway, neither here nor there. See, you can have a mistake, like no, in good faith. I'm like, well, I've never heard of anybody. I also lived outside of the United States for 20 years, and I've been marginalized for the past 20 since I've returned. So, or what is it, 18 to be technical? So nobody see she's lying. That's it. Okay. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, vehicle. People do say that. Oh, yeah. And one of the guys who were mocking Mitch, he was like, "Oh, Captain Neff." Like, somebody, one of the guys, I forget his first name. Is it Blake? Uh, he's part of, the UT. Oh, well, gosh, isn't that a coincidence? See, he's just making it all up. See, that's a typical tactic. Well, yeah, Neff is like not some obscure name. I mean, okay, it's not like Jones, but still coincidence. Yeah, I mean, well, maybe a family connection. See, they were paranoid and afraid that he was a spy. I think probably what happened is they first were like paranoid and thought he was a spy. So they started investigating him, pull him aside, give me your papers and stuff like that. Then they have to come up with an excuse and a reason why they've become paranoid that why he's here. Because otherwise, why are you put paranoid? Oh, because we were thought that you were maybe a bomb threat. See, you got to jump into a reason why you're getting all paranoid and all upset and stuff like that. So you make up a reason quick. Oh, Lord, anybody knows this story. So, yeah, he's not making any connections with, like, he's just thinking, oh, this is par for the course. And believe me, as I say, I've been in this shit show for 20 years, starting with my own case in Spain. And I haven't seen my kids for 19 years because of it. And I've been back in Washington. I know, I mean, I worked for a senator when I was, my mom had connections with Arizona Republicans. I have connections with Democrat Louisiana. Apart from my personal collections, then I went to Foxcroft. That's all the robber baron heiresses, and everybody thinks, oh, get in with the crowd and the group, and then life is all rosy. Oh, no, 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 no! Because if you don't obey and you don't toe the line and turn a blind eye to all of the crap that's going on, then you're a persona non grata, and they will be ruthless, and they will throw you to the wolves of the nouveau riche who are climbing up the ladder, who are more than happy to scratch the eyes out and trip the prom queen. Oh, we got another book here as well. It's In the Company of Women: Indirect Aggression Against Women, Why We Hurt Each Other and How to Stop. Well, yeah, how to stop, that's what we need to work on. See, all of the urban kids, these inner street and, poor neighborhoods. Yes, for example, in Washington and Chicago, for example, is predominantly, you have a lot of the black people this is touching. It depends on where you go in the country, but it is the young urban poor. I was like, yeah, okay, there you go. I'm not going to give you any reason to arrest me, because I know that's just what you're waiting for. You're just waiting for me to do little minimum things so you can lock me up. We know that game. We'll have to find him on. Hmm, see. These people need to answer some questions. Gatekeeper. At least he got. Okay, I just want to say one thing about the whole thing, recognizing faces and things like that. Um, I'm I used to be really good at that. I There's so many people and so many faces at my age. It's not as good as it used to be, but I am pretty good at faces. And I'm terrible at names, terrible, terrible. But having said that, I agree. Some people are really good, some people are very bad. But and we'll get into Colombia and the drugs cartels and all of that. But when I had my bodyguard in Bogota, I mean, he used to, tell me, oh, I learned a lot from him about, all security stuff. That's why also, the security people, they're not dealing with the stupid bimbo with me who knows nothing about this subject because I lived with my ex-husband. He was the director of the Treasury Department of Banco Ganadero in Bogota we went there in 1997 to 2003. So, and I had bodyguard, bulletproof car. So I do know something about the subject. If maybe not just from a consumer perspective, but instead of hanging out in the country club, I was all over Bogota with my bodyguard. I'd be like, "Oh, James, we got a new. Somebody gave me a new address of a new artisan. Let's go and check it out." And then I was working. I went to jewelry school, and I also worked with at a school for abandoned girls. So yeah, I wasn't hanging out in the country club, and I was a persona non grata with the Spanish expat wives before that with BBB. So anyway, I digress. But I remember James would be like, "Did you see? Did you check out what everybody was wearing? Can you tell me what everybody was wearing? Where were?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, see, that's something that you got to know. Everything you go into a place and if something happens or something, you're going to have to give a description of every single person, what they're wearing, what that. I mean, these special op guys, watch Hollywood movies. They're trained and so they have a higher than normal level of remembering faces and things like that, particularly when you're in a situation where you're under first he's going to a place where he's got to get some papers. They're giving him a runaround. Things are like, what's going on here, stuff like that. So right then and there, your like special ops training, whatever, is going to kick in. So he would have a more than average, let's say, recall of who the people he saw there. Anybody who's not even trained is going to be doing that. But particularly if you're trained, you're going to be better at it. And rightfully so. And it's coming. Yeah. Baron Coleman has been looking at some of the plane stuff, um, on the flights on that stuff. A minimum, a minimum. It was God, God's hand at work. Okay, I want to stop for a moment there with this 51,000 emails in the box. Yeah, I do not understand, and this, we'll get into this later with Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s campaign in 2024. Like, what the frick, you guys? You have all of this money, and this gets into my beef with, all the bureaucrat and all of the bureaucracy in Washington. I keep on saying, my God, the only person I had any respect for in this town was Patsy Geyer, who was the executive assistant for the Bennett Johnston. And I learned a lot about, constituent requests of what an office should do, managing the mail flow and all of that. And I mean, with the electronics, I mean, of course, she's got a tip, and then she starts a more tip. Candace Owens, my God, come on, get your website. Don't tell me Ian Carroll can't help you with this thing. And this, you should be able to get, prefabricated whatever websites that should already be out there with all of this stuff. I've been watching that again for 20 years. It starts with my global expat stuff in 2006. But on the user side. So how is it, get your website so that people can go in. I know it's a pain in the ass, but at least they'll get a response. Go in, do triage. What are you contacting me about? Oh, here, ba, 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 ba. As I say, get your triage. I mean, as I say, I went through this with the whole Bobby Kennedy, sending them emails and recommendations that they just ignored. Um, get into that a little bit later, but stop saying, "Oh, you can't imagine my inbox is just so full, I can't get through it." Comes with the territory. This is part of the business. I Baron Coleman, oh, he doesn't follow anybody. I think that was on Twitter or was it on YouTube or whatever. I'm like, well, sticking yourself in an ivory tower doesn't get you very far. Get your head chopped off, just like Marie Antoinette. Yeah, I have to agree with her because there are those moments where I'm just like, oh, there's too many of those moments where I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? And God provides. See, I have been always highly, highly, highly critical of all organized religions. I found that the human right bullshit and all of the civil rights and all of that stuff is just a secular version of the religious stuff. You know, there's nothing wrong with the fundamentals on what it's founded. It's all goddamn assholes who get involved in it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, that's just the new wife in the background. Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to replay that and so everybody. I mean, how is this? Oh yeah, you could just tell he's a scumbag. He's a con artist. I'm like, oh, excuse me. I mean, these are the same guys who are defending Erica Kirk, and everybody grieves in their own way. Everybody grieves in their own way, and we're all going, yeah, but this is really strange. I mean, why don't you take a survey on before you say, "Oh yeah, see this guy? I could just tell. I'm trained. I know that this guy's a real scumbag." I'm so sick and tired of all of these experts. In French, they have an expression: "Pété plus haut que son cul." To fart higher than your ass. I love that expression. Is that really particular? Oh God! I mean, see, Washington, where I'm working, it is the biggest concentration of PhDs, ESQs, and MBAs, and they all got their heads up their asses. Um, so yeah, I disagree with him there about Baron Coleman because he's ignoring me. And that's also, Candace, I heard, oh, she went to Tucker Carlson's, um, yearly Christmas bash or whatever. I'm sure Russell Brand was there as well. See, this is the new ruling elite, the new popular group. I mean, I loved it when my sister said, "Oh, you never excelled in Foxcroft because you were not popular." I was like, "Oh God, yeah, it was such a popularity contest, and I just wasn't into it." That's what it was all, the whole preppy and yuppie, and that's what Tucker Carlson is a part of, and he was always a part of, and his wife. I mean, see, this is where I'm getting pissed off with Tucker Carlson and Susan Andrews, his wife. Well, first off, his wife's father was the headmaster of St. George's, and there was sexual molestation of the kids, the students. Now, he wasn't directly involved, but he was involved in the cover up, and it went on under his watch. So, see, also, Susan Carlson is the typical, dumb blonde, who maybe she is a nice hostess and cooks very well, but barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, and that's why this country is where it is. I mean, as Benjamin Franklin, who was it, this some socialite, he said, "Well, you got a republic if you can keep it." Um, so everybody, see, this is the problem. The ruling elite are just sitting in their ivory towers spending down their trust funds, and then the nouveau riche just want to get into that exclusive little club, and while the peons let them eat cake. And this is why everybody's getting pissed off. It's got nothing to do. It's all about jobs. It's all about income, income distribution. We've got increasing income inequality. And the nouveau riche who are getting in are even greedier and more corrupt and more immoral than the ones that they're replacing, and that the wasp that they so were so oppressive and so horrible. Well, these guys are even worse. Um, so I'm not going to go into, because this just repeats itself. Let's see. Uh, where did I want to get into? Dangerous liberties. I wanted to see Nate. Oh, I think this is Candace. That's Owens. See, I didn't label that one. Gary Melton, that was the 19th, the 22nd. We already did that one. Oh, here, this is the one. Yeah, because he's got, I think he goes into it at first, and we'll condense this. Oops,
to get out. So,
okay. Because this is a synopsis of what everybody's saying and doing. Yeah, there's some people who are like, no way, we know. Oh, is it? where is this country? Death threats? I mean, and these guys, these podcasters, like what? Just bring it on, just bring it on. See, when I was in Bogota, uh, that happened. It was in the first year, and I was at a jewelry school, and one of the guys at the school was the bodyguard of the ambassador to the Spanish ambassador in Bogota, and he got shot and killed. And I went to, and I had met his wife. There was a dinner with somebody at the jewelry school, and I had gone. My husband wasn't going to. He's got an important post, and he's not going to come with me to this. But anyway, I go, and the bodyguard's wife was there, and we're talking, and I didn't really say that my husband, because she's Spanish, and I didn't really say that my husband worked for BBVA and that he was Spanish. I mean, I didn't, I all of these places, like at the jewelry school, this was up in the north, but when I went to the one in the south, that or the center of town, uh, that was, you know, no da papaya is what they say. So anyway, we were having this discussion, and she was like, "Oh, all of these ladies who want their bulletproof cars and their bodyguards and their drivers. It's just a whole bunch of pomp and circumstance, and they just want to appear. You know, it's all for appearances, and it's just absolutely ridiculous." Now, this is Bogota at the end of '90s. Um, it's ridiculous and everything. And I was like, well, everybody has to, look at their own security concerns, separately, because of course, if, as you say, you don't want to da papaya, but also like if your husband works for a bank, they're going to know who you are. So to go around with nothing, no, that's a secure, that's just being stupid. So anyway, I'm just like, well, everybody kind of has to look at, their own, because my sister had lived there for, she'd been there already for, I don't know, 15 years or so. And, there was no issue. And, so maybe it was 10, but anyway, it was there, she had a totally different experience of Bogota as I did with my husband as one of the top bankers, of the executive directors of this bank. They go after the bankers and the petroleum people, and particularly these are Spanish. These are the Spaniards. These are the foreigners. So they're not going to come after the Colombians that work at the bank, and there's only 8 Spaniards at the bank, the head. So anyway, I'm like, everybody has to look at this themselves. I mean, one of the worst, you know, times of my life. And I go, he gets shot and killed, and they have a memorial service. And I go to it, and I'm standing there. I think she probably saw who I'm standing with and connected. Okay, I'm with the BBB people. So I guess she's like, oh, okay, well, this woman, yeah. And I just go over to her, and I mean, I could barely get it out of my throat, all my condolences, because I mean, I know she was sitting there looking at me, and going, well, yeah, you were right. It's not something that you fuck around with. My point being here, and I'll never forget, I mean, the nicest, like, más bueno del pan, this guy. They always kill the nice ones. So anyway, I have great respect for the security people. But I also know, for example, if there is anything involved, uh, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have some security, their proper security people who are involved. You're going to have to get them involved to get past them. So, that's, this guy's really pissing me off. So that is definitely a possibility. But I'm tired of, everybody. I mean, I see in Washington, it's more and more. I lived here in the 80s, and I already saw the motorcades in the 80s. It is getting so obnoxious. Boo, 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 get them more and more and more, but, big, huge. SUVs that are blindado, bulletproof, and show our power. And it's see, it is it's all a status symbol. I mean, not all of it, but that's the motor behind it, and it's sick. It's sick. Ay vey. My Jewish friends used to say that one all the time. Yeah. Oh, okay. 30 years of punching women in the face, kidnapping children, all verified in court documents. We have that on record. See, it doesn't matter what this person's backstory is. When somebody said, like if you have a witness in prison or if you have a witness in like a neighborhood with drug addicts, well, I guess it was Baron Coleman. That's the only witness you're gonna get. And Virginia Giuffre is like the most like unreliable witness that you can ever pull out. Yet then the entire country has gotten behind her, yet we're gonna vilify Mitch Snow, and he's gonna, because if you listen to all of these guys, I won't play them and replay them and replay them. I got notes here. Um, it's a recording. Re-repeat, re-repeat. This is what they're doing. All this story has. See how he's trying to, like a magician, direct your attention away from what is important. And that's the information that we just heard from Mitch Snow. One eyewitness's account. That's where we start. Now, of course, we get in all of these people who were there that day. Uh, you know, Somebody might talk. So one witness is where you basically start with, buddy. Okay. And one witness, you know, like is giving is an account of what's there. Now, as I say, when you get into the court of law, you're going to have to bring in other witnesses to verify this. But for the purposes, you want to initiate, okay, this is what we have here. Can anybody else verify this information? That's how you do an investigation, okay? Instead of some, just shit show. There's no other word for it. This has been a debacle from start to finish. And I've been watching it, as I say, well, I've been watching it all of my life. I mean, this is one of the advantages of growing up around oppressive people, pathological liars. You learn to read it. And believe me, my mom put you to shame, buddy. Really. So easily. So let's continue. She had the metadata. Bullshit. Bullshit. 30-year history of being a pathological liar as proved by the courts. And I quote again, and we continue. No, it's all his opinions. They do present some of the documents from the courts, but we've seen these before. Because you do the same thing. Oh, see, all of them are saying, I have nothing negative to say about Candace. I have nothing negative to say about Candace. Candace is the one who brought the guy on there. I mean, I'm sorry, if you have a problem, you really should take it up with Candace. This guy's putting his ass on the line, and I really hope Candace will not hang him out to dry. So, you know, they all do that, playing. And where I loved it. Alex Jones, it was too funny. So concerned for Candace. They really put on this, like, I'm being a good person. I'm being a good person. I really have it. But we all love Candace. We all love Candace. No, the evil person here is Mitch. This is what the strategy. Because as I say, go through these. They repeat and repeat this tactic time and time and time again. Yeah, see, he duped poor little Candace Owens. Candace Owens is so much smarter than any of these people. Now, I mean, Candace obviously she put out some bait there, and everybody bit on the bait, and now they're trying to do damage control. See, we're all good friends. We're all good friends. We don't attack each other, you guys. That's not how we do it. See, they're playing the victim. They're attacking Mitch Snow. They're playing the victim. Okay, and one of the main points I wanted to make in this video is these guys are vets. Mitch Snow is a vet. Now, my focus has been, or my specialty has been family courts and the international arenas, because my case is in the international arena. However, I have looked at everything from everybody else, all of the different problems and agendas and groups and all of that. And we have a huge problem with the vets. In fact, well, I'll show that later. But I did a court watch for Erin Eddy, her husband DOD. So that was 2016. That was Arlington, Virginia, with Judge Newman. Now, Judge Newman is married to billionaire, the first black billionaire, Sheila Johnson. They're in Middleburg. What they have done to Middleburg is Versailles, Chateau de Roi all over again. Gotta start connecting the dots. It is all a protection racket. And we can go after this in Rico. I mean, this love it with Tim Mellon. He loves Rico. Let's use it against him. He's one of these oligarchs. You bitch and complain about all the oligarchs. Let's go after them. So anyway, these guys are all vets. They should be and wear their wives. Now this could happen to any other, all of these guys, they could fall because what happened with Mitch, he fell from 80 feet. 80 feet. They're saying, oh yeah, this guy who jumps off the you know, supposedly Tyler Robinson jumping off of the roof from shooting after shooting Charlie Kirk. That's like a 9 foot. I forget what they were saying. 9 foot drop. Yeah, he would have broken his foot or something. 80 feet. The guy fell. Of course, he didn't just hurt his back. No, he broke his back, he broke his arms, he broke his legs, he broke his hands, his feet. I mean, he broken everything. Poor thing, he was saying, because he became a stay-at-home dad then because he was disabled, and he maybe it didn't happen when he was on a military mission, and it happened when he was just climbing someplace by himself, and therefore, this makes something in the what the if it's a retirement or whatever they're calling it. And also Baron Coleman said, oh God, they make mistakes all the time, these kids, when they're taking information. So that what it would say on that form is nothing. See, they're taking out little tiny things and trying to make mountains out of molehills. But I mean, and we have a huge problem of domestic violence in the military and its cover up. The vets, oh, this was precious when I was watching Valhalla, and um, that's Nate and JD, and they're bitching about, they're explaining some bill that Trump had signed about their benefits, retirement benefits or something. I forget. I'd have to go back in the explanation. I'm like, and they're like, oh yeah, it's supposed to like make it look good for us, but in the end, it's screwing us over. And I was like, you assholes, don't you realize what he's doing there? This is moving money into the stock markets to keep them up, to keep them artificially up. See, they're at the end of their ropes. They're going anywhere and everywhere that they can redirect money. That's what they're looking on. That's what they're focusing on. That's why Art 38, this is what exactly what everybody wants you to not look at, is this huge financial bubble. And if the banks collapse, this is what I'm fighting for. Apart from all of this smokes and mirrors that you guys are pulling out, yeah, Charlie Kirk's death is important. It's important, this whole process that Candace Owens is doing. It is important that we restore some sort of sanity to our courts and to our government systems. But I mean, we're really, experts say, at the point of no return in becoming a third world war with the public debt that we have. Now, this can be paid off, and this is precisely why I'm risking a pow pow. I love it when Dee Dee got a pow cast. I said a pow pow, pow pow. I'm like, I feel like I'm talking with kindergarten children. Yeah, I'm risking a pow pow. Uh, they've done it before. They'll do it again until they're stopped. I love it how the chat people are jumping. This is like telephone. This is like telephone. That's entertainment. I like Candace. Really like Candace. Ooh, snow. Okay, legitimate fucking monster. We've got that registered as well. Defamation. I mean, come on. I hope to God, please find it. It's not just the money, Candace. You say, oh, I'm going to get some money. Find him a freaking lawyer, knows what the hell they're doing. And by the way, you could tell Russell Brand, your friend Russell Brand, if he would listen to me and read my emails. Well, I can't get any emails to him because he's too far up in his ivory tower. But God damn it, ask Andrew Brentler, his lawyer. And then the other new, I saw a new lawyer. I sent him an email. I think one of them came back. But anyway, that's a criminal lawyer, I think. But ask those two lawyers why they're ignoring me. I mean, this Me Too bullshit has got to stop. And they are afraid of me. Give me a voice amongst the feminists and all of these woke, crazy people, and they're afraid. I mean, even like one of the people that I remember when I was like, oh my God, what is Jordan? I mean, Jordan Peterson, he despises Candace Owens. I was like, ooh, you're losing it, buddy. When I was like, what's going on there? Well, his wife, she's supposedly looking at, what is it, fourth wave feminism or whatever. Years ago, I was like, oh, you're looking at the feminists. Here's all my research. After, well, first, Jordan Peterson, he sent me to his wife, Tammy, and then I never heard back. I'm like, I had it up to here with the academians who just want to publish books and get on their ivory towers. And then these are the experts that you're bringing into the courts and having amicus briefs written by. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. And this little twit who's coming on this midget horse. Oh, Candace, I think you started a thing here. I'm going to have him on his midget horse coming in pulling this bullshit. Now, why is that personal for him? Why is it personal? Is he jealous that somebody is partaking of all of the money that's being thrown around? You know, because this is the charity, the podcasters you get in, you talk about all of the problems. Oh, Lord, look at this poor person. Let's get some money raised for them. Money solves all problems. Oh, yes, they do. No. I mean, this is what I keep on saying. You know, any lawyer, oh, how much you want to charge? Nobody. I promise you, you go into this and you really, I agree with Candace Owens. If some lawyer says, oh, it's a, slam dunk or 100%, you better fire him. You don't want a lawyer like that. But I can promise you, any lawyer who will start listening to me, give me a small little army. At this point, we do not need a small little army. And take it to the courts. I haven't quoted that one time. Steal, what was it? This was from one of the mobsters. Lawyers can steal more money with a bunch of suitcases than, thousands and thousands and thousands of military soldiers. And I agree. See, this is going to either, if we don't restore law and order in the courts, we will end up with a civil war. And it's going to be raping and pillaging in everybody's streets, even the nice, quiet ones, and Megyn Kelly's and Baron Coleman's and Jesse Merle's and Nate. You guys think that you can just keep on moving? Ryan Mata, he said, oh, I'm going to go back to Nicaragua. I forget if it was Nicaragua or, South America. And all of these people who have come to the United States, they're just going to go home. I'm like, well, that is actually, part of it. That's got to be done because there are too many illegal foreigners. We've got violent ones. We've also got people who have just come here to cash in. I'm a believe me, I work for them and with them, and I've been doing that since they ousted me from the IMF. Um, so if we don't clean this up and we don't restore law and order and start, who killed Charlie Kirk? That's a good place to start. Uh, we are going to end up in a bloodbath. And Candace Owens and her, children, everyone is going to be affected. Can you imagine? Look at Gone with the Wind and some of the scenes there. Cut off his money. Cut off his money. That's the way we're going to destroy him. Financial abuse is one of the most used tactics. And the courts are complicit. Oh, the courts are a mess on that shit. See, this is not for people who are closed-minded and can't. This is for people who really want to look at the evidence. No, we're gonna show we're gonna show the good, bad, and ugly. No, they're not. Yeah, they're kernels of truth. See, Valhalla, they should be looking at in the mirror as he says this. Both Nate, Alex Jones, JD, all of the people who were criticizing, going on the attack against Mitch Snow. See, somebody who doesn't really understand the military. Relax, guys. This is going to be a long show. Yeah, because he's going to re-repeat and I watched this re-repeat and to see, are we going to get some new information? Are we going to get new information? But no, they just re-repeat. I mean, it really is a psych up. Relax. Ease our way into it. See how he talks. There we go. Okay, we've already been 7 minutes into this, and now we're going to get into the meat. Again, people with an open mind who want to find out the truth, who want to learn. Make up your own minds. We're not here to say it has the hands, the backstory. Candace, we don't touch Candace. Relax. I mean, what is he getting all of these um chats on his chats? Something no, we actually really don't. El Chapo, buddy. El Chapo comes in later. This is back in the 80s. El Chapo was 2016. We'll get into that. Yeah. Oh, the cartels are after him. Oh, gosh. He's on the run. hiding from the cartels. Ah, we found some evidence. Okay, so 1989. Okay, I'm not going to go over this. I'll give you a synopsis and you can watch if you want the rest of it. So, yeah, 1989, he joined. Then he was, let's see, and he stayed in until 1996. So there was some stuff saying, oh, well, he said he was a medic, but he wasn't a medic. He was an engineer. And then he went in. I loved it when they said discharged. Basically means discharged. You were discharged. And if you were medically retired, you were medically retired. That's the explanation of, like, I'm like, okay, so what's the difference really? Discharged and medically retired. As a lay person, I loved that one. Um, and then as well, Baron Coleman said, whatever they put on that, whatever the soldier put on the paper, um, is not proof, because these kids, Baron even said what a policeman or something, a lot of times they'll put on there is so full with mistakes. We saw the license number, that was a mistake. So just because some kid at Fort Huachuca put on that he was retired instead of medically discharged or whatever is not proof that Mitch is lying or anything. The only thing that is proof is, God damn it, we need to get some civil servants who know how to read and write. That's what it proves. So, yeah, and then he goes, so 1996, I guess, is when he left. So I'm not sure, like, afterwards, when did he marry? All of these, no, we don't really know all of his story. I mean, there's some of it, as I say. He gave a brief timeline and he said 35 years, recap in a couple minutes, pretty difficult. So, no, we don't know his story. And this guy, he doesn't, you can watch the whole thing, you can watch all of the other guys, and he doesn't debunk it at all. At all. Um, so let's go back to here. Again, here this goes into the same debunking. In fact, you'll see, I forget, I think it's on this one that you'll see Nate or vice versa or something. Then this, what he saw at Fort Huachuca the day before Charlie died. Okay, so this, if you go into the link here, for you to see that I have to drop. This is the blogs that I've written. These were 2016, 2018. Oh, this thing needs to be updated. But that's where I did El Chapo Speaks. That's when the whole, Sean Penn wrote the article about El Chapo Speaks, and everybody was in an uproar of how you can defend El Chapo. He's like, I wasn't defending El Chapo. I mean, I've seen this problem in Colombia, and we'll get into that. So you'll see there that I have, well, this gets into all of those. That was the first ones that I did. And then I did do Jimmy's Wish for Life. That's a case in, Caroline Kennedy is involved in that. That's a case in Japan. She was the ambassador, American ambassador. So this is the Aaronetti stuff. And that was the courts in Virginia. So as I say, DOD, excuse me, your soldiers are violently raping their children. You're infected with pedophiles. I mean, we saw with the Erica Kirk and the whole Romanian Angels or whatever it's called. That they're involved in the trafficking of children. We all know about this. We've got documents all over the place. That's what I keep on telling my sister. Oh, well, these film festivals, it raises awareness. I'm like, it raises awareness amongst who? A bunch of prima donnas who couldn't care? A bunch of military guys who just want to rule the world with an iron fist and their bazookas or whatever they got going on there. Um, so this gets into the Columbia connection. Again, I lived there at the end of the 90s, beginning of 200. But so I knew Ingrid Betancourt. Oh, shoot, this is not the one. That's... I'll have to fix the link there. It's not the good link. It's not what I was looking for. So that was a blog that I wrote in 2009 when I got back to the United States. I had finally made it out alive in Spain. No thanks to my family or the McCains or Senator Johnston or anybody that I had been left to die. No unpleasantness. Nobody wants to have their parties molestado. So I was reading Ingrid Betancourt's book during her captivity in the Colombian jungles. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having the same thing with here, these ladies at the IMF Family Association and everybody I know in Washington. And it's been like that since I returned. I'll fix that. I remember to fix that link, and you can look at it if you want. So we're getting into the military and how the military, what's their, how shall I say it? What's their motive? Well, that we keep on having wars, because if we don't have any wars, we don't need so many soldiers. And we don't need all of these cool weapons that they keep coming up with. So of course, their interest is maintaining this this corrupt status quo. So we go back into, you can look. The Iran-Contra affair. Go on to Wikipedia and read about that. Okay, so, all of the links are here for people. So you can read about the Iran-Contra affair. That corroborates what he's saying about what happened to him and all of the problems that he's been involved in, because the American military has been, and the American government, and you can see that on Maxine. I'll have to add that. Maxine Waters. I know on her Wikipedia page, if you go down to the bottom, and one of the scandals or something that she was involved in, or cover-ups rather, it was a journalist who exposed how the American military and the CIA were involved in bringing up cocaine from the southern borders. It just kind of moves around all of the time. They clean it up one place, and then it'll come out. So they were bringing it up, and they were particularly crack cocaine, but then they were, intentionally selling that on the streets in black neighborhoods, in urban areas, to start the new Jim Crow and get all of these kids, hooked on crack cocaine and into the prison system. 90% of urban black men have either a criminal record or are in prison. And this is the new Jim Crow, and this gets into Michelle Alexander. She wrote the new Jim Crow. I contacted her. Okay, let's go to the courts. Oh, you're biting from an apple bigger than I'm willing to chew. You see the connections, the dots. There's an inertia. We have the evidence. We have the evidence, but everybody wants to just get on the internet, start a new podcast, and bitch about it and make money. So anyway, at Maxine Waters, as I say, there was a journalist involved with that, and he ended up committing suicide because he exposed all of this. This is a long time ago. He exposed all of this. They destroyed him, and he did end up committing suicide. And that's the objective. As Bill Maher said, men will kill you, women try and get you to kill yourselves. Same objective, just different tactics. And this gaslighting stuff, either you use the stick or you use the carrot. And these days, we do have nuclear bombs, so the stick is kind of dangerous. So anyway, this is Plan Colombia, 1999. This all gets into the war on drugs. The war on drugs, just like Prohibition, has destroyed or contributed to the destruction of our courts and the corruption. So we need to get rid of that. We need to address those issues. So this is Plan Colombia 1999. I went to the American Embassy, the American Women's Club. They had some meeting that they, through the American Women's Club. I went to a meeting at the American Embassy, and there was a State Department official. I forget if the kid was from Congress or the State Department. Anyway, he's giving this presentation of how, this is going to get rid of the drug production problem in Colombia, and we will live happily ever after, and all of our problems will be solved in the world. I mean, they give this to you all the time. So I'm like, okay, sitting there listening to it. And I'm like, okay, who's the guy over there? That's David Patterson. That's Ann Patterson. We have a female ambassador, Ambassador Ann Patterson's husband. Now, there was a attempt against her life when she was there. It was thwarted, and that's her two sons didn't come. So anyway, Plan Colombia, I get up at the end of the presentation, I say, all very well and good to get rid of drug production here, but as long as drug consumption is rising, the problem will just move elsewhere. So what is the American government doing to effectively, address the huge drug consumption problem that we've got here? Well, what do you care, lady, as long as we get rid of it here? You can't imagine. It took all of my self-control to say, you are one stupid motherfucker. I mean, I have heard stupidity come out of the mouths of civil servants for so many years, my entire life. But I was like, this one's a doozy. So anyway, yeah, so fast forward, I'm having dinner. My brother comes to town with his girlfriend from the Philippines. So we go out to dinner, and it's his girlfriend's husband and the younger brother. And we're talking, and I'm like, wait a second, because this is Patterson. And yeah, my mom and my dad were in Colombia, and they were there, but we didn't go because of security issues. And I mean, that it's not just the ambassador who's going to do that. We didn't go, and we stayed, went to boarding school. The younger one went to military, or maybe both of them went to military school, I forget. The younger one was military, going off. He was starting military. And the older one these are Ann Patterson and David Patterson's sons. And the older one, he's a white-collar criminal. He's a white-collar criminal here in D.C. And I was like, I just looked at him and I was like, oh, Lord, do I have a client for you? And he said, well, I hope it's not your husband. I said, yeah, it is. My ex. And I'm like, so, of course, sweep that under. See, the thing is all of this, like with the Epstein files, yeah, everybody knows everybody else. And everybody knows what's going on, but nobody wants to get involved in any unpleasantness. Now, this brings me to the Bobby, and this is, see, when, I mean, this was the thing. Everybody's Epstein files. I'm like, you guys, I show at the end, Whitney Webb has already put all together this whole thing. You got all of the evidence. Start bringing it to the courts. What are you waiting for? What's this? Release the Epstein files. And what, you think there's going to be some sort of list of, conveniently, this person committed this crime, or I mean, like, this obsession. Oh, and then they're supposedly have paid like $1 million to redact the files now. I mean, they just keep on throwing good money after bad. Um, so, there was, I heard in the news, instead of declassing the files for the Epstein files, Trump declassified the Amelia Earhart. And I was like, oh, that's Tim Mellon. He did that for Tim Mellon. Tim Mellon is obsessed with Amelia Earhart. I even go onto his Wikipedia page, and you'll see lawsuit. He loves RICO. He loves RICO. I'm like, yeah, let's go and use it against him. My favorite was the Walmart family, the Waltons. Their foundation, it was looking for a new director. So I applied for the job. Of course, I didn't even get an interview. I'm like, well, screw you people. I'm going against you on the SDGs. I'm like, the Walton family is still the wealthiest family in the United States. I have a case against them where I can take all that money and we can start paying off all the debt. I've set this up. But no, I'm working alone, of course. I mean, I can't do this alone. No freaking way. Like, it's like my mother. Oh, keep on, we're praying for you. Oh, see, this thing that's also what makes me believe Mitch Snow is, oh, my wife could just be wonderful one minute and then like this evil, yeah. Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest, Nancy Reagan. I mean, I'm kind of like, you guys, everybody I went to school with, everybody who's ever known me or my siblings know about my mother. This is not something that's been hidden or anything like that. We're like, and all of what it did to my father. I mean, remember at the end when I found out the lithium that he was on, oh God. And I was like, let's get him on some medical marijuana. We all had a good laugh over that one. Yeah, Dad wouldn't have gone. But yeah, see, I even said, oh, when they give me a voice, and if I can get Bobby Kennedy in the HHS and give me a voice on that one, all the crap, dope them up. I mean, tranquilize them. My sister researched all of this stuff, and she came back and she was like, no, lithium is going to be the best, the best of the worst. I mean, lock up anybody with that witch, give them something. I mean, that's cruelty, torture. Oh, forgive how he died. All because of jealousy and, yeah. See, JFK, I mean, come on, you guys, look at that. Where was the logic of how Caroline and Carol and Caroline and Carrie and all of the Kennedy women and most of his family went bashing Bobby Kennedy on his 2024 presidential bid? He was a shoo-in. And he was for unending, stopping the unending wars. I mean, his platform, if he was of good faith, he was right on market. On target, sorry. So, this is the thing. When I saw Bobby Kennedy in gosh, she presented it. It was 2023. I even got fired. You can go on my Taking Back America for the People, and my conversation with Morgan and Morgan saying, "Would you please? I just got fired for supporting Bobby Kennedy." And Morgan was a partner of Bobby Kennedy's. See how it's all connected. So anyway, I jump in. I even applied for jobs. Of course, I didn't even get an interview. I was blogging for it was the Kennedy Coalition. This was run by Randy Hines of Las Vegas. So I was kind of like, well, why isn't Randy Hines here? I've put together these blogs. They're just ignoring me. Like, okay, I'm not saying Bobby Kennedy has to get on the phone with me or get on a one-to-one Zoom, but let me talk to somebody. I mean, unfortunately, I was like, okay, that whole shit show. This is what I was like, wait a second. Do you guys really want to win or not? And I mean, Amaryllis Fox, what a great job she did. What? Like, are you people kidding me? I mean, if that had been run properly, Bobby would have been, I mean, he would have taken the flag and run and been in the White House before anybody else. With how much JFK and RFK are just held up as heroes in this country. Now I know Ethel Kennedy. Ethel Kennedy, that goes into this deep jealousy of her son and her anger at her husband for dying and leaving her with all of these kids and no money, because no, that's why RFK Human Rights was started. It was to finance her. This was the way that we're going to take care of this widow. Now, that's, might argue that this was a way to solve the situation. But anyway, look at what Kerry has done. Look at what RFK Human Rights for LGBT people, while everybody else can go jump in a lake, to put it politely. Go screw yourselves. So anyway, that whole thing, I was like, God, I know none of you know how to read your emails, and we went into that earlier with the emails with Candace Owens. You guys have to start doing triage with your emails, and you got the systems with the IT technology that you can do it, but also you need to have some people with some brains in there. So I even went to one of the demonstrations here in Washington. It was people from Virginia and Maryland, because there was no coalition for Washington. Oh no. DC, oh, nobody's gonna. I would have had the chapter. I would have started, even if I was sitting by there on my own little lonesome in front of the White House with I would have done it. So one time they did a demonstration in front of the White House. I mean, it was pathetic. It was not even 10 people show up. So I was like, oh God. And then a bunch of idiots talking to some dumb blonde. And she says, oh, well, maybe the Kennedys are just ignoring you because they don't want to become involved in any unpleasantness. It's like, yeah. Narcissism Epidemic book by Twang and Campbell explains, we're in a narcissism epidemic, and everybody wants to be entitled. Nobody wants to deal with any unpleasantness. If there's any corruption, if there's any pedophiles, if there are any rapists, if any, all of these, we've got sugar babies all over the place. We've got websites, yet we are going to put Virginia Giuffre and all of these sugar babies that Jeffrey Epstein had up on a pedestal and hold them up as role models for the rest of them. And we're not going to start addressing the problem of the honeypots, as they're calling. I mean, Erica Kirk is no different than Meghan McCain. Pamela Harriman, that's of the Churchill family. And Jenny Jerome Churchill, again. So this is an issue that's been around a long, long, long time. And, as Susan Shapiro Barash explains in her book, the only thing the feminist movement has accomplished is to change or to expand women's competition and aggression between themselves for competition for husbands, meal ticket husbands, mansions, material wealth, and the success of their children. So since their children, they're bringing up these entitled narcissists who don't know how to tie their shoes, much less become leaders and fill in their heads with all sorts of crap. They need to maintain, favoritism for the young people in marketplaces, and that's way they can keep a job. And they can take jobs for more competent people out there. And this way also, we keep an incompetent workplace. All GDP stuff is bullshit. The country is being destroyed because nobody wants to work and nobody wants to, everybody wants to go, oh, let's start a new restaurant. No, learn how to cook. So anyway, all very, is it that nobody reads their mail? That's Andrew Bustamante keeps on saying is just because everybody's so incompetent. It's not that they're like colluding or anything. It's just complete incompetence. Now, I'm willing to go to a certain extent on that theory. Certain extent. And I've got Adrian Thapa, Sharmini Curry. That goes into Larry Summers. Gina Paoni there. I mean, like I have a long, long, long list of people that we can go after and prove that one, but it goes beyond that. So, we know. I mean, I think we all know this. This woman, Melton, I think that's her name. She's the Jewish millionaire from Las Vegas. See, this is why I'm thinking, well, maybe Randy Hines, and because there was speculation, is, RFK Jr. is his campaign just to make sure that Trump gets into the office, gets into office. And that's going to take that was running around there. Oh, that's just to take votes away from the Democrats and make sure that we end up with Trump. So my question, and I even in April, I put a blog up on LinkedIn and I sent it to 700 journalists on there. And I was like, you guys, maybe you should start looking into, did they really do this? Was this just a waste of $100 million, what his campaign cost, in order to assure that Trump got in? A maneuver. Now that would make sense. Randy Hines, and in fact, I sent an email recently to Randy Hines saying, would you please tell Bobby Kennedy to listen to, now he's at the head of HHS, they are afraid of us. We can start attacking the problems in the family court, CPS, Health and Human Services. I mean, that's all connected. We can go in there because this has been recognized as a public health problem, abuse, and, the agencies that are not addressing the problems but making money from it. So we can go in there. So I'm like, can get me Bobby's ear on HHS stuff and, water under the bridge. Trump has done some stuff that should have been done. Why am I not getting a response? Is it because that's Republican Las Vegas? And oh no, we want to keep Quenby away from Bobby because if Bobby finds out, what maybe Bobby knows about me. I don't know. I don't know. Like, with Candace, I'm just asking questions. You have to, if you're going to do an investigation and you're going to get to the end of the line and get to the truth, you have to ask questions. So that's another connection with the Las Vegas, which makes total sense. I mean, come on, Las Vegas. If it wasn't for whores and prostitutes, I mean, where would Las Vegas be? Oh my God, when I got here in 2009 and I saw that they were constructing a casino, as my mother would say, I had apoplexy. The frick are they doing constructing a casino? This goes deep, you guys. This is not just finding out who killed Charlie Kirk. I mean, at this point, come on. Anybody who is buying the official narrative is either like Gary Melton being paid for it, or not necessarily being paid. It's in his interest. He has here, let's look at this. Paramount Tactical Solutions. I'm like, come on. This is going to keep on turning around. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, so they got courses, calendar, proven gear tour, virtual training academy. You have to understand I'm a pacifist. Yeah, I mean, I believe in a strong military, and just like it's good to, you got to stay in shape. I mean, I love kickboxing. I mean, I don't hit anybody. I like to go to in fact, I want to get the aerobics classes back. I mean, like kickboxing, oh, that's one of my favorites, and it's really good exercise. Um, so yeah, here we got all of these guys. See, of course, this is shop calendar courses. Oh, look, they got lots and lots of courses. So of course, here's the conflict of interest we got there. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've already, oh God, I'm already at 3 hours. So I'll wrap this up because I'm dying to see. I will be posting tomorrow if we actually see the wife. And I'll really be going in, digging into that. So, oh, here's what I wanted to show. So all of this is Gary Melton. There's Brian Atlas. They're all doing a hatchet job on Mitch. We get into here as well. Remember, Sean Ryan also played his hand in the interviews, so you can check out that. See this? Okay, let's do this one first, and then I'll go back to the slide before. So this is a document. So this is the Lawful Rights of Mankind, an introduction to International Legal Codes of Human Rights. So this was written in 1986 by Alexander Joel, who then became a civil rights lawyer for the CIA. Okay, and now he's I forget, he's a professor someplace. But this is let's see. Imagine a world where the international community placed no constraints on how rulers treated their subjects, allowing them to cast aside human values such as life and liberty. A ruler in such a world could lawfully exploit, mistreat, and even exterminate entire strata of the state's population. International law would confront concerned nations with an unseemly choice: follow the law and allow millions to die, or break the law to intervene directly in the sovereign affairs of another state. This world is easily imagined for, as Paul Seigert examines in his new book, The Lawful Rights of Mankind. We only left such a place in 1945. So basically what he's pointing at, what he says basically in this book review all of these years ago, is he's like, well, the problem that I really have with Paul Seigert and all of his, implementation of these international conventions that nobody really cares about, nobody looks at. That's what I've been told. Um, is that the crux of the problem is that the lawyers and the people implementing the laws, at national levels, really don't understand any of these concepts that are embodied in the human rights conventions. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. That's the crux of the problem. The religious people, I mean, this is basically, your religious documents, same type of rhetoric and rules and laws as in the international conventions, but the secular people are no better than the religious people, and they're all playing the same game. So yeah, I agreed with him. Funny, you're CIA. Now, the daughter, see this, his great great grandfather. This is a Ruby Seigart of. We can go into the Seigart family tree. You can click on there. If you're not logged into Ancestry.com. You can find it there. So this is Marianne Seigart. That's her father, Paul. Then we go Ernst. So Dr. Ernst, these two separated. They fled Germany and the Hitler regime, and that was the Nuremberg laws of 19, was it 33 or 35? So Dr. Seigart, she went to she died in London in 1973, and he went to Israel. So he was born in Berlin 1891, and died in 1968 in Israel. Exactly, I mean, I'd be interested in finding out more about, because then this was his spouse. This is also was his spouse. And so she died in the concentration camps in 43. And that was also his spouse. And then I think I don't think that they were married. I think that was the thing. I'd have to look into that. So anyway, but her family, in this family tree, you can click, you can go in any of these. I mean, I have all sorts of family trees there. So this is Dr. Rudy Seigart. He was a singer, changed his name to Seigart because, of course, singer who is Jewish. Now, he was blamed, I can even pull him up. Okay, so he had two daughters. So this is the case study of, I think it's farther down in here. There is a link there to the article, which goes into how he was blamed for the crash of 29 in Europe, in Austria, which the Mellon family, Andrew Mellon, was involved in that. So see, these families, they just keep on with the same old game, and then they get joined by nouveau riche people, and the bubbles keep on getting bigger and badder. So anyway, that and we'll go back to Marianne. So Marianne, she went to Cobham Hall, and she's one of these who has ignored me. So anyway, Marianne, she's a celebrity journalist for Sky News in Europe, and I thought I had, well, maybe I'll have to add a link into Wikipedia for her. So anyway, she wrote a book on the authority gap. Why, you see there, the authority gap, why women are not being taken seriously and what we can do about it. And I keep on, she's blocked me, she's canceled me. I'm like, yeah, well, Marianne, if women would act more seriously, then they would be taken more seriously. See, this whole stuff about women being oppressed for centuries and centuries, that's all a bunch of bullshit of the feminists. Yeah, we're the weaker sex. We can be, you know, men can beat us up. They can physically overpower us, you know, even men our own size. But that doesn't mean, and yeah, we have the babies, so we're going to stay in the homes, and they're going to go out and kill the, you know, the food and gather the food or whatever. Um, and that has been changed a bit in the dynamics of the Industrial Revolution, admittedly. And that did have a lot to do with the oppression of women that were, you know, your workers. You're no longer in an agrarian situation where you're contributing with the work and you're eating, you know, subsistent level, or, you know, supplemented by others as we progress, but still you're not being paid, but you're contributing to the work that provides for the family. When we have industrial revolution and the urbanization, that breaks down, and that's where you have the oppression of women in what all the feminists are complaining about. But it's not this bullshit that they've been promoting. So we'll go back. This I wanted to show because I really like Spanian.
Someone from far was just boom, 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 and he got hit. This is common.
This is housing in Medellin. Yeah, now there's, yes, I really like Spanian's you know, travel videos because you know, I've had it with, oh, let's just promote all of the wonderful things about the expat life. And I'm like, see, Joe Parfait, she's been putting out that shit for many, many, many years. Everybody needs to be held account for all the bullshit that they've been putting out. So anyway, check that out because I really like this video. And particularly Medellin. I mean, I went to Medellin. We went there for a wedding, but while I was there, I went to the fabricas, um, to look because I knew we were moving back to Spain, so I was like, okay, well, maybe they're very, very good in textiles and producing textiles, so let me see about exporting you know, something in the textile business and taking it back to Spain. I mean, we were there for as I say, for a wedding, so I was like, well, I'm going to take advantage and go and check out the industries there. So I got a feel for that. And I also got some Levi jeans, which everybody does. They go to the outlets because, see, all at Levi's, Ralph Lauren. Oh, this gets into the Ralph Lauren. That's another can of worms. Ralph Lauren is there. But the whole structure, I mean, they have a very strong textile industry, particularly Medellin, but it is being so exploited. It's not even funny. The whole system, and this gets into the trade agreement. Um, you know, everything needs to be revamped. Where the fuck is the World Bank and the UN or all of this stuff? Oh, I forgot. They're too busy having, you know, advancing their careers. And the lawyers are too busy turning a blind eye so I can't get them into court. But yeah. Oh, Spaniard, he missed the bullet on that one. Holy shit. If they had caught him, that wouldn't have been too fun. And I'm sure they were going after him. No, that was too much. They were tracking him. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I think they don't like Spaniard too much. He denounced the pedophiles, so of course he's not popular anymore. See, you denounce the pedophiles, you're not popular. You support the assassins and the pedophiles and everything, and you're welcome. God. So, okay, then we get, I already kind of went over this. You can see Sean, he's got, see, he plays both sides. You got Tucker Carlson over here responding to the biggest conspiracies in the world right now. Oh, and then, I mean, everybody just jumped on the Brian Harpool interview. That was too good. So here, Jesse on Fire. You can check out his videos. I am going really long on this, so I'll wrap it up. So you can check out his videos and kind of how he responds to all of this. This one is Echoes from Above. But see, these guys, they're just playing lip service. Oh, Alex Jones said we got to do this. We got to go after Mitch Snow. So let's all go after Mitch Snow. We haven't looked at any of the evidence. We don't know what's going on, but let's go after Mitch Snow. Now, he has 3 daughters. They live in Texas. Yeah, Cornelia Guest is in Texas now. Yeah, Texas. Everybody's moving down to Joe Rogan. Let's move down to Texas. Like, that's going to solve all the problems of the country. Not doing it. So here are a few people that, as I say, this has really gone on for 3 hours. So, and I gotta see what, when I'm really Gary Melton. Oh, I'm dying to see this ex-wife. And if you bring that kid in, I think he's still a minor. If you bring that kid in, oh Lord, there's going to be hell to be paid. I am so sick and tired of how you people are using these children. Can't even imagine. So here are some people. Oh, this is again what we saw earlier. The Paramount Tactical Share. I think this is the patriotic housewife that does that. So then, let's wrap it up. Going back to what everybody doesn't want you looking at. And it's not Jeffrey Epstein. It's not the Epstein files. Although they are coming out with some juicy stuff. And these sleuths, these techie, see, you guys, you got some techie liberals out there who are working for the mafia. But you got some kids out here who are like, I'm going to use my little brains. This is Ian Carroll. He's like, oh, okay, I'm going to collect all of these. I don't know. He's working on some sort of thing that you're going to be able to like ask questions directly, and it's going to make things very, very much easier. This poor kid should watch his back. So anyway, here, just see Epstein from Iran-Contra to present. Check that one out. One Nation Under Blackmail. We've got the 2 books. Whitney Webb, she's been ignoring me for years as well. See, women, if you would work together, then we would get a lot farther. Instead of, oh, I'm not sharing my platform. Oh, I'm not going to, I'm not going to let that person grift on my limelight. Stop thinking like that. If we all work together, men and women, and it only takes a few, then, you can dismantle the house of cards. So anyway, so Whitney Webb, she's in Chile. See, this is another thing. Oh, we're just going to move abroad and everything's going to be dandy. No, you're risking, you're even more exposing yourself to risk. Because there's nothing, I mean, the way you guys, I keep on explaining this, the way that you have set it up, you have no rights. You have no rights over your children. They can be taken from you anytime. My Global Expats was modeled after the Federation of American Women's Clubs Overseas. That was started in 1931 in London with the objective, to defend women's rights. Well, they're not doing that. They've used it as a social climbing tool. I want to see all of those ladies in courts. But the idea is still there, and the idea is still good, and the necessity is still there. But if you, you know, I don't care about anybody but myself. I don't care about any but myself. We saw that in the New America with Ryan Mata. That was in the last video. And the Turks, they were on there. The podcast, The Turks, what's his name? The two of them. Oh, well, what do we care about some, just one kid? It's in the documentary. What do we care? I'm like, well, you might start caring when it comes to your kids. So stop thinking, what do I care as long as it doesn't happen to me? What do I care as long as I'm in the limelight, as long as I have my Christmas tree and my children and everything around me? What do I care about anybody else in the world? I mean, I stopped believing in Scrooge, the Christmas Carol of Scrooge and an epiphany a long time ago. I mean, really, my mother's death and my sister's death. I just don't believe anymore. My niece, my sister's deathbed. I'll keep on fighting. I'll keep on fighting. Ask my brother, what is she fighting for? What is she fighting against? All this fighting. Fighting, fighting, fighting. It's glad my dad's not here anymore to see all of this. He always used to say, oh, we're going to go back to the barter system. We're going to go back to the barter system. And nobody wanted to believe him. I mean, he was a genius. And nobody wanted to believe him. But, I mean, that's where we're going to end up. And that is that people cannot wrap their heads around how that is going to collapse economies. Now, there's a way out of this, but a lot of people with a lot of money are going to be very, very, very unhappy. And there's going to be a lot of unpleasantness to be had. It's that, or you watch in your neighborhoods, and you watch your children and your wives, and the raping and the pillaging and destruction of your property, and you will have no right to complain. You have brought it upon yourselves. So that's the end of it. So now I'm going to watch and see if these guys pull out Mitch's wife. Okay, so how am I going to end this? Okay, so that's it for today.